Hi, I'm Phil Bainbridge, and this is a quick demo video for the blog post, Create a Dynamic Menu from Content in a Google Sheet. Here's a Google Sheet we're going to be working with then. It's only got a little bit of information in just to help explain how this works. So what we're looking at doing is we've got a couple of different languages down the left-hand column, and we've got a formal and informal way of kind of saying hello, basically. But what we're aiming to achieve here is we want to use this information in the Google Sheet in order to dynamically create and populate a menu item. So rather than traditionally writing a menu item out in AppScript statically, so it's hard-coded there, we're going to have this menu item created depending on what's listed in our Google Sheet. So how does this work? Well, basically, we're just going to pick a menu item and it's going to run the same universal function that just simply passes as a message that tells us hello in Greek in this example here. So the actual function that's run is quite universal and it's passing in the information from the sheet. So if we just try a different option, for instance, we can see that it's there. So how does that actually look then in terms of being able to expand it? Well, let's add some French in here then. Let's add bonjour, salut. Now, with the menu, it runs via the onOpen function. So that means it won't appear here automatically when we make some changes to the sheet. What we actually need to do is to refresh it or close it and reopen it so that our AppScript code, which we'll see in a moment, will rerun. And this time, as we'll see, populates it with that new option that we have there. So this is really useful in being able to control menu items quite dynamically. And this could be a hidden sheet somewhere that you've got, depending on what you need. What does the app script look like? Then if we take a quick peek, we've got two main functions going on. We've got our main function called dynamic menu. The odd thing here is we have to kind of call this function as soon as our Google Sheet is opened. And we also need our onOpen simple trigger so that this can all be initiated without the user having to click or interact with something. A quick rundown of what some of the stuff we've got. We've got a function, a child function here called getSheetData. This is the one that, as we're kind of used to, we're just getting our data from the sheet. We're getting rid of our header row, and then we're looping through our rows. We're getting our three columns, language, formal, informal. We're creating our customized message that I showed you there. And then basically we're pushing this into an array as a JavaScript object. So we've got the name and args there. So if we go back into our parent function, here then we can actually create our function name, which is what these are going to initiate when we click on each of them. So basically we're using the language name with an underscore at the beginning. And then we've got our message details here. And we basically use a JavaScript this keyword method to link those function names with our function, which we have a quick look down here, is just simply creating a message box in the Google Sheet to display our pop-up. And we create our menu item. So it's basically looping through, and this is all happening as soon as somebody opens the Google Sheet. Quick couple of caveats, as mentioned on the blog post, is this runs every single time somebody opens up the Google Sheet. That means depending on how many options you have and how much code you've got going on, it can be a little bit heavy, basically, when you first start up. So you can see the execution logs here as it's running and iterating through. Similarly, when you then select a menu item, it's running through and finding the relevant information. So it's quite burdensome in that respect, and probably only best for smaller menus that you might need. But it's just an example of some of the stuff that you can do with AppScript. Thank you very much.